In this video, I'll be remaking my Roary Axis System for my CNC router. I made this about a year ago, and it has a couple limitations. The main limitations is I only can carve pieces up to like 12 inches long. And I need to be able to carve larger pieces, actually longer pieces. And my height is from my rail here to the base is about 7.5, that's about 7 inches. So the maximum pieces I can cut are about 3.5 inches in radius, or 7 inches in diameter. To enable me to do that, I want to be able to put this table for the rail supports for my Roary Axis below this tabletop surface. So I actually want to remake a new tabletop, put this support below the surface of the tabletop, and I want to be able to move both my headstock and my tailstock. Right now this tailstock moves back and forth, but I want to make the headstock movable also, so that when I'm carving a longer piece of the board, I can move this headstock way to the back. But if I'm cutting shorter pieces, I can move it forward. So I'm not working on small pieces way in the back, I can be working up front. So just much easier to use the system. So the changes I'm making are going to be putting this support for my Roary Axis below the tabletop surfaces, making both the headstock and tailstock movable. And by putting this below the surface, I'll gain like a half an inch of diameter pieces I can cut. So I'll be able to get a full 3.5 inch diameter piece of wood that I can carve. So I need to remake my tabletop. I am making new rails for the system, and I'll be machining new headstock and tailstock supports for my system. I begin by removing the previous rotary system. Then I remove the screws which are holding the tabletop, and then remove this old tabletop from the system. I just cut all the components for the system. I have my main baseboard here. This is my new rail. The previous system was only 4 inches in width. This is actually 5. And I have a filler piece on the side here. So now I can cut pieces up to 27 inches long. And if I ever want to machine a larger piece of wood, I can just take my supports off from my rotary system, and I can use the full width of my table. So I don't lose any space at all. So my next step is to fasten these down, fix them in place. Then I have to drill holes for my threaded inserts, and I have to make the components for the rotary system. Okay, I am in the process of installing my system. I got my table and my rails installed. I want to make sure these rails are perfectly straight in line the entire length. And so when I use the gauge, one of these feeler gauges, to adjust it very accurately. But my system's all aluminum, so I have to use some metal plates. So I machined a metal plate, which is magnetic. It can stick to this. And I'm going to be attaching this to the side of my motor here. And I can attach this to here quite easily. So I do that, I'm using some epoxy. Some paper down here so I don't get no epoxy on everything. And I have my epoxy all mixed here. I thoroughly coat a thin layer of the epoxy over the entire surface of the metal plate. And then I attach this to the side of the VFD motor, and then use some small clamps to hold it in place. And then allow it to dry for about an hour. The setup time for this epoxy is about 30 minutes, so it'll be fully dry in less than an hour. I have two of these gauges. This one is accurate to, the scale is in 1/10 of a thousandth of an inch, which is probably too fine for this. This is for my metal lathe, so it's very, very accurate gauge. This one's a little less accurate. This is accurate, or scales in 1/1000th of an inch, so this is probably more appropriate for this. So this is the one I'll probably be using to align this. So I got my metal plate, which is glued on there. I can attach it, and that works nice. So I just need to adjust this, and I can line it over the rail right here. Now I have my rail attached to my main body with 2 screws, one on each end. But these screws have a little bit of play in them, so I can probably move them. Well, the screws are in slots with nuts underneath, so I can move these back and forth to adjust my rail. Now I adjusted this close just manually, so let's see how good we can get it now. I adjusted the dial indicator gauge so that the gauge tip just rides along one of the side edges of the rotary system track. I then use the auto movement to move the CNC head the entire Y length of the rail. Apparently my initial manual adjustment was quite accurate, since I could barely see any movement of the dial gauge. I therefore tightened down the screws holding the rotary system track in place and move the camera so that you can better see the accurate measurement of the gauge as it slides along the rotary track system for the second run. Well, I just put the finer gauge on, which has gradations of 1/10 of a thousandth of an inch. And that's pretty accurate. I'm not going to touch it. I couldn't adjust it any better than that, so I'm going to leave it there. So I'd say my accuracy is better than less than a thousandth of an inch, probably like maybe half a thousandth of an inch variation. I use my Aspire graphic design program to design the layout and also to generate the G-code to drill the holes in the tabletop for the screw inserts. I'll be using the standard drill bit that was included in the Easy Lock kit to drill the holes for these brass screw inserts. I'm not drilling these holes completely through the 3/4 inch MDF tabletop. I'm only drilling these holes about 0.65 inches deep, since the screw inserts are only about 1/2 inch long. After the G-code program was created in the Aspire program, I then transferred this G-code program to the Universal G-code software, which is used to operate the CNC router. I then proceeded to drill all the holes in the tabletop. I'm using a portable shop vac to collect most of the sawdust as these holes are drilled. And I want to put a bunch of these screw inserts. These screw inserts have a 1/4 inch 20 thread per inch hole in the center, then a larger thread on the outside, and I drilled holes in my tabletop, and these will be screwed into those holes. Then I can use these to add clamps and various adapters for attaching pieces of wood that I'll be carving on my CNC router. The issue I've had in the past is getting these to go in straight. I did this by hand in the past on my previous tabletop, and occasionally they got twisted. Usually that first thread catches it and pulls it to the side and it goes in crooked. So I needed a way to get these to go in nice and straight. What I need to do next is to get these screwed in the tabletop. Now I could just attach these to this adapter and attach this to my drill, and then use this to drill in the tabletop. But even doing that, quite a few of the adapters got in cockeyed. And usually what happens is that first thread catches the bit a little bit and then causes it to twist to the side so it doesn't go in straight. Or even you got to make sure your drill is perfectly straight. So it's hard to get that aligned because you really can't see. I have no level on my drill or anything, so I can't really see it. And I said the first issue is that I think that first thread catches it and pulls it to the side. So I needed a way to get these to go in straighter. So I made 2 jigs to do this. These are both designed in my Fusion 360 software. Pretty simple jigs. This first jig is just a plate which is 3½ inches in diameter, has a 1/2 inch diameter hole through the center. And this is designed as a guide. This 1/2 inch hole is the exact same diameter as the shaft on this piece, and that guides the piece in the tabletop. So the idea is to hold this flush against the tabletop, use this, and then drive it into the tabletop. But I wanted a little more than this 1/2 inch extension, so I made another adapter. This adapter is, again, 1/2 inch diameter, has a 1/4 inch hex head insert through hole, and that slides over the shaft. Now that gives me a full 1 inch of guide for this adapter. And I still have enough room here to catch on my drill tip. So now as I'm driving this through, I have a full 1 inch, and that doesn't twist at all. It goes in nice and straight. So the idea is to, add your piece to this adapter, put it in here, line it up with a hole, hold this down flush, and then drill it into the tabletop. So that'd be attached to your drill, like that. You do this, line it with the hole to get it lined up, push this down flush, hold it tight as you drill it into the tabletop. And that works out quite nicely. The other issue I have with these inserts, occasionally, with this MDF, some of the inserts were pulling up as I was using them. So I wanted to fix these in there a little bit permanently. So I'm putting a thin layer of epoxy on the inside of the hole. And that just gives enough additional gluing ability that these inserts will not come out. Now I won't be able to take them out to reuse them because they'll be lost if I make a new tabletop, but at least they won't come out during my use of the system. This epoxy sets up in 5 minutes, and I can do a couple of these at a time. So I just take a little bit of this and I just coat the inside of the hole. Doesn't need much. Let me just do 2 holes here real quick. I have my insert ready. Attach it in here. Line it to the hole. Push this down flush and then drive it into the hole. And there it is, perfect. Do the second one real quick. Same thing. Line it with the hole. Hold it down flush. And that fast. So these go pretty quick. I then continue to insert the remainder of the Easy Lock brass screw inserts into the MDF tabletop, lining each of the holes with a thin layer of epoxy, and then using the alignment jigs to accurately align and screw each of the inserts into one of the tabletop holes. Well, I just inserted a bunch of 1/4-inch carriage bolts in these holes so you can see how accurate they are. So the system produced holes with this jig very, very accurate, but in addition it was much faster. I did this in less than half the time that it took previously. And every one of these inserts is perfectly straight. They're at perfect depth. They're about maybe a 32nd inch below the tabletop. So they're just perfect. It worked out quite nicely. I'm only showing a small portion of the actual machining of the headstock and tailstock to reduce your viewing time. I did set up a special jig as seen here for the accurate machining of these 6-inch by 6-inch support brackets for the headstock and tailstock. I had first used a 2-inch face mill to machine the 2 sides of the aluminum angle bracket perfectly flat and square to one another. I then drilled a series of 6 holes on the base plate. 1/2 inch long by 1/4 inch diameter pins will be press fit into 4 of these holes. 2 thumb screws with brass guide bars will be attached to the remaining center 2 holes. Here is the base plate after 4 1/4 inch steel pins had been press fit into the outer holes. To install these angle brackets onto the Roary Axis track, I next attach 2 thumb screws with 2 brass guide bars. These 2 brass guide bars will slide into 2 parallel channels on a Roary Axis guide rail. The combination of these brass guide bars, along with the 4 1/4 inch pins, will ensure that the aluminum bracket will slide accurately on the Roary Axis track and remain perfectly square and perpendicular at all times. The 2 thumb screws can then be tightened to clamp the angle bracket securely in position on the Roary Axis track. Here are the 2 angle brackets installed into the Roary Axis track on my CNC router. Each of these angle brackets will slide easily on this rail and they can be locked in place. One of these angle brackets will become the tailstock, the other will become the headstock. I will next machine these 2 angle brackets for the headstock stepper motor mount, and then I'll machine the other bracket with an adjustable screw mount for the tailstock. So I just need to do some more machining on both of these 2 plates. As stated earlier, the advantage of this system is that the headstock and tailstock can be positioned at any location along the track for the convenient carving of any length of board. This completes this video describing my redesign of my tabletop for my CNC router. And the main purpose of this redesign was to get my a new system for my Rotary Axis System, which is longer. So this system now enables me to cut boards from as small as like 3 or 4 inches long up to almost 30 inches long. The headstock moves easily on this rail, so I can position it any position along the rail, as well as the tailstock in any position. These run quite smoothly on the system, but then they can be locked in position to give me accurate positioning. I did make a minor change during the redesign. Originally I made this plate, and it was a 1/2 inch thick aluminum angle iron, and I felt this just wasn't sturdy enough. I wanted something a little bit stronger, so I actually redesigned this, made a new plate which is an inch thick, and it's definitely much more sturdy for aligning my system. It still rides on these same rails and can be aligned and locked in place. Made a couple other changes to the system. Number 1, I put a scribe mark on the top surface of my tail stock here. And this line I actually etched into the surface is the exact center position for aligning my tools in the Y-axis position. Both these flat surfaces on this tail stock are the exact center height of my cutting surface. So I can use this again to align my tools. So I have two gauges on here to align my tools. This flat surface for aligning the vertical position, and this line here for aligning the Y position for my tool cutting. So it makes it much easier to align my tools for setting up my jobs. With this shorter plate now, I can actually cut pieces up to actually 30 inches long now. I go the full length of my rail. The other change I made, I actually lowered this rail below the tabletop surface. So this is actually like almost a 1/16 of an inch below the tabletop surface. So if you ever want to carve a larger board, like a 24-inch wide board, I can actually remove these from the carriage, and I have the full width of my table, 24 inches wide by 36 inches long for carving. So a lot of versatility here with this new system. Let me describe how this new system will work. Here's a block ready to be turned. It's one of my blocks ready to be a pencil holder. I've mounted it to a faceplate here, which will screw on my headstock. And then I can move the tailstock in any position. I have various adapters for my tailstock, either a pointed adapter, or in this case I have a plug that actually goes in the end of my piece. And I can bring this forward and align it with my tailstock, and then I can position both of these in any location. I like it towards the front where I have, easier to control. And I can lock the headstock and the tailstock in position. I can adjust the tension, get it nice and tight with the tailstock, and then lock that in position. And now we're all set to carve this block of wood. So it works out quite nicely. I've machined a number of blocks using this technique. This is a pencil holder I made with some ships on it. Came out really nice. And I have another one I made with some eagles on it, which came out quite nicely also. So in the future I'll be making some longer pieces. I don't have anything planned right now, but I'll be showing some longer carvings in some future videos. This is a summary of the features that were designed to this new tabletop for my CNC router with the new Roary Axis System. The Roary Axis System will have the ability to carve boards from 7 inches in diameter up to 30 inches long. The new rotary guide rail is 5 inches wide by 36 inches long to permit the carving of longer boards. The Roary System guide rail is now positioned below the tabletop surface. This will give me some additional Z height clearance, but the main advantages is that if I want to use the entire tabletop surface, I can remove the headstock and tailstock. There are adjustable slots machined to the ends of the Roary System guide rail to enable the adjustment of the guide rail so that they remain perfectly straight and parallel to the line of travel for the entire tool length. 1/4 inch diameter steel pins with screws and brass guide bars were machined into the base plates of the headstock and tailstock to not only enable the sliding of the headstock and tailstock on the guide rail, but also to ensure that the headstock and tailstock will remain perfectly square and perpendicular to the guide rail. The headstock and tailstock are fully adjustable the entire length of the guide rail and can be locked in place using the 2 thumb screws. Both the headstock and tailstock can be removed from the guide rail. This will be beneficial should I need to carve flat boards using the entire surface of the CNC router system. An alignment line is machined to the top surface of the tailstock mount to mark the exact Y-axis center of the system. I machined 2 flat surfaces on the 2 sides of the tailstock top bracket to locate the exact Z center height of the rotary system, and these are used to align the cutting tool. The Easy-Lock brass screw inserts were accurately screwed into the tabletop surface using some new jigs that were previously described in this video. Thank you once again for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, please drop us an email. We'll be happy to respond. Thank you once again for watching.